Charles. Happy Transformation Tuesday, the day after MLK Day. Transformation Tuesday, January 20th, and welcome back to another episode of Style by Stevie. We are here with JJ Johnson for his second interview. We did our very
Yeah.
first interview last year in 2025. So, how
Mhm.
has the new year, been for you thus far? And what did you do to ring in the new year? How did you celebrate ringing in 2026 and the Christmas holidays and beyond?
So like the holiday season was kind of just about family and keeping things simple this year. We hosted for the first time my parents um who live in Virginia as well. And so they came and my brother brought them here. My parents and where I grew up is a very small town. And as a result, they don't get out of town very often. And so, they consider where we live to be the big city. And so I think it was kind of scary, especially for my mother to come down this way. But once they got here, they loved it, and we had a great time, great dinner. And then New Year, my wife annually goes to a meeting in New York, so I'm usually either home if I'm not doing anything else. So I stayed home and watched a movie on New Year. So I brought it in very simply. But so far, like this year, getting back into the grind, I've been resting for a few months. I had a very busy year last year. And so since June, July, things slowed down until like the end of October, where I didn't have any work from the end of October until here recently in the last couple of weeks. But in November, my wife and I went to India for the second time, which was amazing. My wife is second generation Indian American, so it was my second time going with her, and so that was like kind of the event that stopped me from working because I couldn't take on work knowing I was going to be leaving for a couple of weeks. But yeah, India, simple holidays. That's kind of been the big news, I guess, since last we spoke.
Yes, and beautiful tradition, stepping outside of the norm. And I'm going to go back to what you just said, which is resting. I did the same thing. New Year's Day, uh, woke up and it was what? New Year's Eve. Everybody was celebrating, of course,
Right.
shooting the fireworks and everything. I slept in. And when I woke up, it was New Year's Day. And my girlfriend, my best friend, my sister, she texted me. She said, "Girl, what are you doing for New Year's Day?" I said, "Girl, I'm thankful to be alive to see 32 years of life."
There you go.
Because at
There
the
you go.
time, I think we did it in October when we did our interview. I can't remember. It's been a minute since the
Yeah.
first interview we did. And it was only last year. So you're back
Mhm.
in the new year for your second interview. And I was still celebrating. I said, just thankful to be here, to be alive, to have great health. You guys know that I've been on a health journey. I've lost some weight, and you guys can
Mhm.
tell from the pictures. You're just like, what are you doing? Everyday consistency. And I just got off the phone with a friend a few minutes ago. And I said, I'm on a new health kick, a new health journey, losing the weight. I said, I want to be around. I have a nephew now. I have a 2-year-old nephew. And I have this platform that people all over the world watching. So I have to
Mhm.
make sure that I am leading by example and I want to come in healthy, a whole new beginning,
Yeah.
clean slate. So
Yeah.
rest is imperative in my journey. I know for sure. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people's journey as well. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah.
Now,
And it's not
we're
easy.
now here. Balance. Balance is key. So how have you been balancing?
Um, I mean, honestly, just my rest for me just means staying home, uh, focusing on watching a movie all the way through instead of, pausing, looking at my phone. Um, and also finding time to go visit. I visited my grandmother a few weeks ago. Doing things that I don't have a chance to do when I'm so busy, auditioning or rehearsing or whatever, or traveling. And so, spending time with family, making time with friends. I went to see a couple of friends. Um, we went to see a dear friend who was one of the only Black theater leaders in the DC area for many decades, who's now in late stages of dementia. And she's in her 80s and in a nursing home. And it was just a couple of us decided to go, check in on her, and it was beautiful. Um, while she may not be extremely she may not be very verbal at this point. You can tell in her spirit that she remembers who she is. If she can't speak it out loud, you can feel the emotionality when we talk about what she means to us. So we, taking time to see people. That's kind of what it's been about here recently because I know, stuff is starting to pick back up again. So before I get swept up in that momentum, I need to take time to see the people who helped me to get here. And I'm thankful for where I am and for the health. And you were talking about your health, but I've been extremely conscious of mine because I grew up in a family where people ate a lot of things that weren't healthy. A lot of overweight family members, people. Diabetes runs rampant in my family. I don't want that. And so every year that I go, and I speaking of aging, I just turned 51 last week. My birthday was last week and I know so many of my
Yes, happy belated. How did you
thank you.
celebrate the big 50? What did you do?
So the plan was we didn't do anything last week because we had just gotten back from California, and so the plan was to do something this weekend. I've invited people over for Saturday, um, but then I saw that there's going to be a big snowstorm. So now I'm waiting to see if I have to
Yes.
postpone. So it's postponed for now. Maybe, likely. But my wife and I have a tradition of getting each other our favorite cheesecakes on our birthdays. So she went and brought home the cheesecake that I love. So we had a simple evening on my birthday. Um, but otherwise, I still work on my birthday. It's 51. It's not like 50 or 25. But I'm just happy because I do feel good, and I go to the doctor annually, and they give me my numbers are good,
Oh, yeah.
and so I'm like as long as I'm in that range, I'm thankful and grateful, and hopefully can continue to do the things I love for the time being.
And what advice would you give to black men as it pertains to going to the doctor and, aging? Because it is a thing. A lot of people seem to think that it's just women that we are
Yeah,
conscious about our
yeah.
age and everything. And I use this example too, JJ. It was an episode of Good Times, and uh, it was Florida's birthday. No, it was Walona's birthday, and
Mm,
they were setting up for Walona's birthday party and everything. And JJ said something about Florida's age, and she just gave him that look. Like, yeah, you don't ask a lady her age, and for women, that's a sensitive topic. But
sure.
there are some women who just be like, "You guess how old I am." I've told
Right.
y'all how I am. I'm a young woman, so I'm a young whippersnapper. I'm 32, but I will be getting up there pretty soon,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the changes and what's to come. Now, my sister, may God rest her soul, I teased
Mm.
her. I was like, I want to say 18 and 19. I teased her because she's like, I'm getting old. I was like, girl, please. And I just laughed. I just couldn't stop laughing nonstop. Because when you get in your 30s, it's like a light bulb goes off. And you see things differently. Your opportunity is different in life.
Yeah.
All of these things, you're like putting your life into perspective. Whereas if you're in your teens and 20s, you can go out, you can have fun, you can club, do whatever you want to do, stay up as late as you
Eat whatever
want.
you wanna eat.
But when you get in your 30s, it's when you really feel it. What did Beyonce say in that video when she was taking the picture? She said, "My knees ain't like they used to be the same over here. I feel it, girl." If you ever
Yep.
see this Beyonce, so I have a nephew, so I have to pick him up. And my even my mom, she told a joke because my brother was like, just sit down, mama, we'll hand the baby to you. She was like, I see why y'all say y'all hand the baby. I got to have a strong back to be able to pick up that big boy. That is a big baby. So but I love it. I will break my back for my nephew anytime. Anything to
Yeah.
make him happy, to pick him up and play airplane with him in the air, all of that. But it's also taught me maturity. My mom has said it, and a lot of other people have said it. They say you've changed. That's why I have a nephew now, and then it's almost as if you're like an authority figure. You're an aunt or a mom or dad, and I'm an aunt now. So now it's like you're having to take on responsibility while
Yep.
the parent isn't there. My brother isn't there, and he's back
Mm,
home. So it's like you have to balance that, making sure that mom is okay. So all of that falls into perspective. But that's on another note. But we were talking
mm,
about black men and
mm.
aging. JJ, what would you tell to black men about going to the doctor and getting checked up? And I had a guest on the same not too long ago, and he was saying the same thing, encouraging black men to go to the doctor because we know in the Black Collective that you said in the beginning, diabetes, and I can tell you,
Mhm.
um, on the verge of type 2 diabetes, when I got that call back from the doctor's office that my triglycerin was very high. My doctor, she was concerned. And she said, you
Mhm.
know what? You can reverse this. My mom has reversed hers. My brother is diabetic,
Yeah.
my grandmother, my
Yeah.
father, and it runs in your family. Yes, we eat the foods that we're not supposed to be eating, but you can reverse that. So, what advice would you give to black men as it pertains to going to the doctor and making sure that everything is a okay?
You got to, like, you have to. I've seen, again, at 51, I've seen those did not go to the hospital, who did not go to the doctor regularly, get riddled with cancer. His brothers, my great uncles, get riddled with cancer, never went to the hospital. And then, eating bacon and just, I mean, and nothing wrong with bacon, everything in moderation, but just they did not take those precautions and, ended up with very painful deaths. I watched an aunt of mine, get limbs amputated because of diabetes and gangrene and things of that sort. So I think, for black men, black people, but black men specifically, I we won't admit that there's a fear of pain. And of course, there's a history of distrust when it comes to the medical industry here in this country. But I think we risk a lot more when we don't go. And fortunately, my father learned pretty early to go to the take care of his health and to go to the doctor. And so I got to see my father modeling going to the doctor regularly and listening to his doctor. And so though he has his health issues, he will go when needed, and he goes annually. And I will say that I benefited from that. Um, and not only with physical health but also mental health, seeing a therapist. Black men, we need people to talk to. We have a lot going on in our brains, that we don't talk to, and I don't think we talk to our boys completely openly and honestly about the things that are going on inside of us. We say the things that we feel we have to say in order to save face, but I don't think we have those spaces where we can talk openly and honestly. And I just encourage that, because I think when we give space to heal emotionally, it manifests in our body as well. So I can't speak enough about, like, black men, get your health right.
Now y'all know why I made that face. Why I'm making that face because this is what I talk about all the time on my platform, and it's not just for black men, but it's the entire black collective. For years, we have been taught to sweep things under the rug and not talk about them.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
therapy, talk to someone. And I said this just not too long ago. You guys can check out the clip on my Instagram at style by Stevie underscore daytime. And I said, faith without work is dead. God put therapists here for
Mhm.
a reason. So if you're spiritual, Christian, whatever you believe in, make sure that you are normalizing and prioritizing your mental health. Because for far too long in the Black collective, we taught, oh, you'll be okay. No, it's okay to not
Yeah,
be okay.
yeah.
It's
Right,
okay to have
right.
your up and down days. And someone asked my mom, how was I doing? And she said, oh, she's been up and down. Yes, I have, with the current state
Mm,
that we're in. Uh, but I try to maintain my peace in of chaos. And
sure.
what's been an escape for me is reading. Um, that amazing person in the comments, my brother K Tukes, has also been an escape for me. He texts me on a
All
regular and
right.
checks on me.
Yeah. You need
Jeff
those
Sky,
people.
she does the same as well too, and she affirms me. This is what she did, JJ. She did it. I think it was yesterday. She said, "Sis, we
Mhm.
love you." And I was like, the world, people I don't even know, they love and admire me because of how genuine I am and how much they see what I give to them on screen. I receive it, all of it, all the love. And I give it
Yeah,
right back to them. I've always been a kind person, and K Tukes can vouch for that. To anybody who loves on me, and that's what we got to do. We got to love on each other more than anything. And if you notice that
yeah,
you have a friend or a family member who's going through something, sit and talk with them. Yes, you can talk to family, but if you want an outside opinion, therapy is definitely the way to go. It is okay to say, I'm not okay. And there are days when I don't feel like getting up in the morning. I just want to stay in bed all day. And thank God for K2. Some days I'll be off and people will be like, that's not like her. She doesn't miss a day. And I don't. I try to do this platform consistently, Monday through
Sure.
Friday. But there are days when a guest will cancel and something came up, and that's totally understandable. But I take that as my day off for my self care. So I'll go
Yeah.
and shop or do my nails or look at hair products or clothes, all of those things. That's my form
Sure.
of self care. Everybody has a different way of self care. And I would encourage anybody to make sure that you're being gentle to yourself, especially in 2026. Limit your intake.
Yep.
That means if you got to put down your phone for a little bit. For me, I can't because I keep people alert on what's going on in the world. And not only that,
Mhm.
but I bring a sense of joy. But I also have to make sure that I'm taking care of myself as well too. And my methods of self care are reading. My methods
Mhm.
are exercising, and I do it. Please don't try this at home. It is freezing cold boots down here in South Carolina, and we're near the waterfront. So I
Oh,
get up
okay.
every day at
Wow.
7 a.m. and I do it. I don't mind. I got up and I said it was a little light rain shower. I got up and walked right out there and did my exercise. I said, okay, let me put my hood on my hat. Boom, boom, boom. Let me go out here and do my exercise because no little bit of rain, no little drizzle gonna stop me from getting my workout in.
Mm.
So do something you've never been done before. I regret it because I was coughing a little bit the next day, but I'm okay, y'all. I ain't sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like I was on Christmas evening, because I did fall sick on Christmas evening. And I was throwing
Mm.
up and everything. It was nothing. Y'all call me a diva. Yes, it was nothing, JJ. It was nothing diva like about me throwing up sick. My mom was like, "Oh Lord, no, not you too." Because my brother fell sick. My brother fell sick. My dad fell sick. My mom was sick. And then it came to me. And then I wound up bouncing back, recovering and recuperating from it. And then my mom back to being sick. So I'm just like, oh Lord, it's something in the air. But I'm okay now, y'all. I'm okay, yes.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
nothing cute about Christmas evening. I said, I can't be on Christmas evening. I was fine, sending everybody their Merry Christmas text out and everything and passing out gifts. And then I ate something, and next thing you know, I was done. So
Yeah.
I would say to anybody, make sure that you're being gentle to yourself and listen to your body, please. Listen to your
Yeah.
body because your body would never lie. I can tell you, I've done this platform with a whole sinus infection, and that's the strength of being the strength of women. We able to go. Don't care if it's 102-degree fever. We will strut on in stilettos and keep going on about our business. But I had a sinus infection, and I did that show. Oh no, I'm not about to miss that interview. But now I'm in my 30s. That was when I was younger, but now I'm in my 30s. It's like as you get older, certain things start to break and become fragile. So I see the
You
brunt
haven't
end
seen
of what my
anything
sister
yet.
was crying about. Yeah, it's that karma boomeranged back on. So when people say, "Oh, my legs, my back, I can't do what I used to, can't get out of bed like I used to, stay up as long as I want to." So
Mhm.
a lot of us who are not 30s and 40s, but when you're uh JJ just turned 51. So it's like when you get there, you will feel the brunt of it. This is just a teaser for what you're going to experience as you get older. And my mom was just
This
like,
is a
wait till it's
trailer.
your turn.
Yeah.
Wait till it's your turn. Because when your
Yeah.
parents, when you have children or whatever, your parents always say, wait till it's your turn to have kids. Because you remember, you and your brother used to do stuff like that. And the same thing happened to my brother. When now that he's got a son, I can hear my mom's words in the back of his ear. Like literally, he knows it because, I
Mhm.
only have a toy poodle. No kids over here. I only have a toy poodle. So my mom is just like, it is like raising a child for you. I said, yes, it is. I have to clean up after
Mhm.
her. And I brought her on the show last week. You guys seen her when I did the interview with Kevin Leroy. So she is literally like a baby. She will follow you every single where, everywhere you go. She is your little shadow. So if not me, then my mom. But yes, make sure you're being gentle to yourself. 2026. Also, JG, what else are you looking forward to? Goals, because I know that everybody, young, old, whomever, has something that they want to work on, that they want to accomplish. And it's never too late to do vision board parties, y'all. So you can still
Mm.
put your goals into what you want to do. So, any suggestions or goals for the new year? What are you looking forward to in this year?
I think I want to take time to like actually work on some new ideas as far as writing, whether it's plays, screenplays. I want to flesh out some of the ideas that I've written. I have the ideas jotted down on like a spreadsheet, but I want to expand on at least one or two of them. Working on those, I would love to pursue representation as far as for acting. Um, I haven't done that in a while, and I think I'm due. I've been at this for a while. I have a lot of credits, and so I want to take the time to look for representation, whether it's in New York or somewhere closer. But I want to do that work as well. So those are kind of the two main goals of 2026, and just continue to hustle, look for work, and do whatever work I can do. In the meantime, I teach acting classes, and so I just started doing that again this week, and that's a lot of fun, and meeting new students and people who want to develop a passion for acting. So it's nice to be able to pass that on as well. And can I just say something going back to therapy for a second? One
Yes.
thing that I found, um, because I had this preconceived notion before I started doing it, that a therapist would be a white person in like a suit or a dress, or someone who looked very business and kind of felt distant or different from me. But I found that I had the right and the power to choose what kind of therapist I wanted to sit with. And so my therapist right now that I've had for almost a year is a black man around the same age who loves hip hop, has locks, and we sit up and we talk. And sometimes I'm like, am I talking to a friend or my therapist? And so like I hope that these preconceived notions about therapy isn't stopping people from going in, because you can find people with similar interests and people you can just talk to who will give you perspective that you didn't think about, because we're always in our own head about our stuff. But when you get someone on the outside who sees you and hears your patterns and can put them back in your face and be like, oh, this is what I do, this is who I am, then that's how we can evolve. And I think all of us deserve to evolve and not stay stuck.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with change. There is nothing wrong
Mm,
with stepping outside of the norm and doing things you wouldn't typically do. Trust me, I do it on a daily. And not just with
sure.
fashion, but I'm talking about with
Mm,
life, with business, with perspective. I said also, one of my posts on Instagram was, you seeing me, and you guys have seen me and my colleague, Now's the Time, do a lot of collaborations, and you guys love it. So I said I want to do more collaborations with my guests, on let them co-host the show with me. So you're going to
mm.
see a whole lot more of that, and I have a whole lot more amazing guests lined up in this season alone, season 20. So whereas me doing it by myself, you would typically see three of us, whether it's me, EJ, Johnny, or Marco and Johnny, or vice versa, or Manny, any of the co-hosts that I've had here in the past. Well, EJ is coming back this Saturday, so you guys will see him Saturday. So we're gonna try to get back into the swing of doing it how we used to be in the afternoon, not the morning. We would do it at 9 in the morning, the weekend
Mm.
shows, and we would interview guests together, or collectively, all three of us. But it'll just be me and EJ. So you're gonna see more collaborations. Of course, Now's the Time is gonna be coming back. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. And you guys love it. So now's the time to basically step outside of your norm and do things you wouldn't feel comfortable doing. I remember at one point I'm like, I would never collaborate. I'm just gonna host it all by myself. But no, you
Yeah.
have to shake it up. Get different opinions that are also like yours, but also make sure that it's saying the things that people also are thinking. And that's what I do here on my platform. So I invite people on my platform who have an open mind, who are just interested in wanting to see change and changing things in life as well too. So stepping outside of your norm can be scary, but it's so worth it.
And
Trust
you'll
me, y'all.
surprise yourself.
And
Yeah.
yes, and be able to accept that constructive criticism, because at one point I was like, cocky, arrogant, you're young, you don't really know, you're foolish in the brain. but someone was trying to give me constructive criticism, and I was just wasn't trying to hear it at all. But now, I want to say age 28, 29, someone
Mm,
said, "Can I give you some constructive criticism? Try it this way." And I was like, "Oh my God, it worked."
yeah.
So shout out to Alvin, another one of my colleagues, again, collaboration, and you guys can check me out on his panel coming up pretty soon, uh, next month, whenever. So you guys will see me there with Bubs and Deshaun and Harold and Queen Spicy and Conscious, all of them. You'll see me on there with them. So again,
Wow.
camaraderie is what we need more than anything. And not just camaraderie, but being able to collaborate more with your peers. So we got to
Yeah.
do that. Each and every one of us, we have to do that and making sure that we are keeping in touch with our loved ones, form groups, make sure that you are, oh Lord. Yes, my mom just called me. She's probably back from the beauty parlor, but she'll be okay. But yes, I want you all to make sure that you are expanding your taste buds. And what I mean by expanding your taste buds, not just with food, but stepping out, doing things you wouldn't typically normally do in your career, in your life.
Yeah.
I always have
Yeah.
a set schedule for how I like to do things. I like to eat at this time, 11 o'clock, and then at 4 o'clock, Style by Stevie. And then the rest of the day, my mom says you got to get out of your schedule and the way you're doing things. I understand that you're
Mhm.
not going to be there specifically on time, but people also understand that as well too. So make sure that you're doing that. And I want you guys to remember that. So 2026 and beyond, more goals, you said more projects. Uh, what else are you looking forward to this year? Because I know we just got through with the what was it, the Golden Globe Awards, one of the award shows. And shout outs to Tiana
Yeah.
Taylor and Ryan Coogler again on that.
Right. Right.
What
Right.
other what other film showcases are you looking forward to? Because pretty soon the film festivals will be rolling around in the spring.
Yeah. I mean, like right now, so like in the last week, we've gotten the screeners, members of the SAG-AFTRA union, have gotten screeners for the movies that are nominated or being considered for the SAG Awards. So I get to watch, films, and that's always exciting. My wife, who's not involved in show business, she loves, watching the films with me. But I've gotten to see Marty Supreme, and Blue Moon and these films that like Ethan Hawke. But you get to watch like actors in their bag. Those films when they're vying for the Oscars or the SAG Awards. So you get to watch these actors who we know showing off the people that I look up to and admire. And so like I don't know what is coming this year, but I know this past year we had Sinners, and so like people got to
Oh
step their
yeah.
game up because Sinners to me like just raised the bar way up, and like I can't I'm like, I'm looking for the thing that's going to make me go, oh, well, Sinners was good, but, you know, and I mean, honestly, like I loved Get Out, but Sinners to me kind of did that with Get Out for me because I loved Get Out, but Sinners was like, oh, like next level to me. And so now I'm looking for the thing that takes that to the next level. Um, and like I loved One Battle After Another, seeing Tiana
Oh,
Taylor, in that expansive role. And watching her career. I don't know her musical career as much as I do like what I've seen in her, her acting career, but she's done fantastic work on screen. So I'm excited to see what more she does. Um, but yeah, I'm looking, to see what the older black actors are going to be doing this year, and then what the younger ones on their way up, what they're going to bring, and the directors and people behind the camera, what they're going to be doing, and still hoping that the movies that I've worked on or that I've written will raise enough money to see the light of day, so that other people can see them as well. So that's I would say that's another goal to hopefully see uh, the feature film Silent Partner financed so that the public can see that. Uh, Finally. Now, if I can plug this, the original Silent Partner short
yeah, you,
film is available on a free streaming app called Mansa, which David Oyelowo, the actor who played Martin Luther King in Selma, is
yes.
one of the heads of. But it's a free, I think you can download for free, Mansa, Mansa. but Silent Partners, a short film, 60-minute film that I helped to co-write. And it stars Carrie Young, who is a two-time Tony Award winner. She wasn't at the time. We caught her like in 2021, right before she blew up. But she's fantastic in it, and it was exciting. It was my first film, as a screenwriter. So it's exciting to have her on board for that. But yeah, catch that on Mindset if you get a chance.
Make sure y'all go and check that out. And I'm so glad you mentioned that. Pam Grier, y'all know I love me some Pam Grier. She's literally the expo for me. The whole Vixen like aesthetic
Yeah,
is Pam.
yeah.
She's the reason why I do what I do. She also has a company as well to Fox Flicks. So you guys can check out some black exploitation cinema on there as well. So make sure that you are
Oh,
supporting all of these outlets that are out here giving you free information on filmmaking. Make sure that you support the ones who are creative uh, films and shorts, all of these things. So make sure that you're going and checking them out. Make sure you check out JJ. Make sure you go and check out Pam Greer's as well too. So make sure that you're supporting these companies out here that are black owned, that are putting out. Yes, girl, Pam Greer was on The View yesterday and she talked about it. So if you got y'all know about Hill Up in Harlem with Fred Williamson and all of them, y'all know about Coffee, Friday Foster, Foxy Brown, of course.
mm,
Uh, all Sheba Baby, all of them. Yes. Jackie Brown, yes. That Pam
yeah,
Grier. And she's in her 70s. She looks amazing, by the way. So again,
legendary. Yeah,
that just goes to show you longevity. So I mean, she stood the test of time, and
yeah.
she looked at Whoopi because I'm like, okay, I would be freaking out if I was sitting at a table with Whoopi Goldberg and Pam Grier. Both women are iconic. And she
Iconic.
said,
Yeah,
she told
yeah.
Whoopi, she said, "You are the one who paved the way for me. It was because of you, Whoopi." That's what she told Whoopi Goldberg. Pam Grier said that. So it's true,
Wow.
but make sure y'all are
Yeah.
going and supporting this film. And I think she's also doing a story on her life. So she's talking about turning it into motion picture, which leads me to my next question
Nice.
because JJ, you have had longevity in this business as well, also too, and tenure. So who would play you in a story about your life? I didn't ask you that in the first interview.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's an interesting question. Um, I can't think of his name, but he's the young actor who played Junior on Blackish. Uh, light skinned kid. He's older and he's an adult now, but I vibe with him because I'm like I was that nerdy kid when I was his age. Um, yeah, I can't think what he's been in some
Is it
other stuff, but
Marcus Scribner or Miles Brown?
Marcus Scribner, the taller
Yes,
brother. I think
light
it's Mark.
skin. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Marcus. Yes.
yeah. I think he could handle my nerdiness.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
And beyond. Uh he'd have to get everything. So you'd have to work with him. That's just like, okay, see, if you're gonna do a story about someone's life, I know when Angela Bassett played Tina Turner, like she was there throughout the whole entire training, her
yeah.
mannerisms. She said it was very strenuous. Like if you look at her body, I'm like, her body's like pow, and she
Yes,
looks amazing. You really
we
embodied
all
Tina
notice.
Turner from
Like,
the
yeah,
legs to the arms,
tone.
everything. She said
Yeah.
it was strenuous playing Tina Turner. So if you're going to get into character, you have to make sure that you're studying this person and their art and their craft. I don't know who would play Miss Stevie in a story about my life because I don't really look like anybody. Nobody doesn't look like me. We all have our own unique
Well, who has
looks.
your spirit?
And
Who do you think comes closest to your spirit, though?
oh, oh my goodness. I wouldn't say have my spirit. I kind of have her spirit. Ooh,
Okay.
and she's gotten older now, but she still looks amazing. Uh, ooh, I would say Grace Jones for sure because our
Sure.
fashion, we're out of this world, we're bold, we're
Yeah.
different, but we don't look alike. That's the thing. I don't look like anybody. Everybody say, "Oh my God." you remind me of this person, this person. I'm like, I don't see it.
Mm.
I look like my mama, Miss J, and that's it. I have Miss J's personality, and me and my
Yeah.
brother look alike. Me and my brother look alike. And what's so crazy is when we were younger, we have a picture on the refrigerator. And I'm like,
Mm.
who's who? That's you. That was you. I'm thinking it's my brother, it's
Wow.
me. So when we looked alike, we both wearing green turtlenecks. I have to let y'all see the picture. You wouldn't be able to see who's who. But yes, me and my brother look alike more than anything. So I don't know. I really don't. But I don't think my brother would be willing to put on a dress and heels.
Mm.
He wouldn't. But that's it. So I mean, yes, if you're gonna tell a story about somebody's life, make sure that you are everything. And I know when Angela did Tina, every step of the way, we seen the photo of them together. We
Yeah.
seen the photo of them
Yeah.
together in the studio. You that mannerisms, everything. That's just like when Chadwick, because a lot of people keep forgetting. We know Chadwick for May God rest his soul for the Black
Man.
Panther, but he also played James Brown, y'all, and 42.
Jackie Robinson. Yeah. Yeah. And Thurgood Marshall.
So and some of these stories about James Brown, I didn't even know. Like you showing up in the place with a rifle, I'm like, okay. But I'm like, that's
Yeah,
something
James
James
Brown
Brown would do.
was a
He
little
really
weird,
had
was a
to
little
tap
wild.
in. Yes. Showed up with his rifle in the place. So we seen it in the trailer, but he bodied that. So make sure that you're doing it justice, just well. Another person who can do great in a bio, I would say, is Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. He played Joseph Jackson. And he said after that, a lot of people did not like him at all. They,
Sure.
thought he was going to
Yeah.
be exactly like Joe Jackson. But see, that's the thing is what's what makes a great actor is when you make the character so believable that people will walk up to you. And I
They
remember
blur that
sitting down,
line.
and I'm pretty sure that conversation, JJ. I sat down with Eamon from Snowfall, Jerome
Mm.
Saint. And I
Right.
asked him, I
Right.
said,
I
why do
saw
you
that. Right.
always go for these? Almost every character you played has been a villain in some sort of way. And he's just like, well, that's just, he was very nonchalant about it. Well, that's just me. He taps into it. He knows how to turn it on and
Yeah.
turn it off. And the
Yeah.
same for
Yeah.
Timothy Miles. So you have to be willing to do that. You make the character, but a lot of people know you got to learn to separate the two and not bring the character home. Because I remember Kiki Palmer said, with one of her roles, that she brought the character home. And it wasn't by mistake. And as an actor, JJ, you know this. For
Mm.
anybody, sometimes your family members will look at you like, huh? What are you talking about? Like she was playing a pimp. Kiki Palmer played a pimp. Yes, a female pimp. And she was talking just like the character. And her mom
Sure.
looked, I think it was either her mom or her sister, like, girl, what are you talking about? Like you're still in
Yeah.
character mode. I'm just like, I'm sorry. But you can't help it though. So any advice that you would give to other actors on making sure that they separate that character and not bring it home because it happens, y'all.
It does, and I mean, like, it depends on how strong the character is, or if there's, how separate it is from you.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I know with accent work, when I have to play a character with a British accent or a Nigerian accent, that I practice at home, and then so I end up, having casual conversations with my wife, and she's like, "Can you please stop?" with the accents. But I think, I see more practice now in theater, where at the end of the night we'll do a little ritual together to step out to say like we're thankful for this journey in the characters, but now we could step out and go back to ourselves. So I think those little rituals help to separate and blur that line because even outside of the accents, I know there have been some characters that I've, loved so deeply that it's hard to let them go when the journey's over with them. And so, you don't want to bring those things home. I don't think it's
Oh yeah.
healthy. I think, and so there's a reason why you're attaching to it, and it's usually not a healthy reason. So just understanding that division between the character and you, and then taking steps to really highlight, I'm stepping out now. Like that was fun, but let's separate out of that now. So I would encourage that some sort of process, some sort of ritual that takes you out, brings you back to yourself at the end of a day, whether on set or on stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's to anybody. Make sure that you are also in that mental space as well too to tap into that character. Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of people met their actors. It can be difficult. It can be challenging to go to a place you've never been before. But you have to make sure that you're pulling right back in. It's like a light switch. You turn it on and then you turn it off. And another example would be Monique in Precious. And
Yeah.
she was very physical in that character. That
Mm.
character, she said that
Mhm.
character has a backstory. Almost every villainous character has a backstory. And it's important for us, the viewers, the consumers of film, to know that we see the protagonist and then we see the antagonist. And we get the protagonist's story, but the antagonist or the villain in the film is just like, what is it? What is it making this person so sinister and evil? And we
Mm.
can kind of guess when we see, in that film, it won't really tell you. But until, it gets to like that climax or that scene where it's just like, okay, what made this person turn and go left?
Mm.
What is it? We want to know the backstory. You're foreshadowing
Yeah.
us, the viewers, the consumers. You're foreshadowing, and then you probably won't find out until the sequel. You think that character is going off somewhere? No, they're coming back for revenge.
They'll be
So
back.
the antagonist that is, and then you'll find out more. You'll find out more in layers about this person. Like this person is very complex. Like wow,
Yeah.
how did this person get to be so evil? So I mean, even the Joker had a backstory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we keep learning more with the more, iterations of the Joker that come out, the different actors and, all, but it's and I will say, like, I know there have been characters that, um have been so powerful that it changes like inside you can feel your breath and like the your heart rate and all that change, so being careful with that too because your body doesn't understand that you're pretending sometimes, and so it can feel when you take yourself to a highly emotional place, uh your body may mistake it for reality, so understanding how to navigate that as well, just for your body's sake.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's for anybody. Look, any tips for anybody looking to become an actor, and just expanding your craft. Make sure you study the person because when
Mm.
you get the script and you're reading over the script, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to take myself. Like if the setting is set like in the 1920s, you have to think in that mindset of the 1920s. I know when I'm gonna go to the comedy side here. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy did Life. That's one of my favorite Martin movies. I love that one, and of course, Thin
Yeah.
Line on the Martin Show as well
Yes.
too. But
Yes.
Harlem Nights with that's another one of my favorites. So
Mhm.
you have to think in that mindset. That period where they're in that jail cell and it goes off to the club. You got to think about that time period. Like you're in the 1920s, you're in the roaring 20s and 30s, the club scene, the way people were dressed,
Mm.
that element, how people would talk. You have to what's the show now that you guys can go and check out? Welcome to, I think it's the based off of the clown. It's based off of it.
Oh,
You guys
welcome
have
to
seen
Derry.
this. Yes, welcome to Derry. You have to think in that time period. The families then
Right.
in that time period, you have to think how they would talk, how would they sound, their mannerisms, all of these things. Think about that element. If it's something current, if it's up to date, of course, you put your spin onto it. But if it's around that time period and if it's a timepiece in that era, you have to go back and think. Pull from your family members as well to pull from their knowledge. Like how would women do certain things back then? Or how would, business businesses at that time operate or someone working in a business say you have to study, really, really study. So that's what I would say to
Yeah.
any up and coming actors. So, all right. We are now almost in the closing hour. Fashion Dolls, we're going to take some questions from the viewers. Do we have any questions? Fashion Dolls for myself or JJ again. It is 2026, and today's show is solely based on being intentional, following your goals. I know 20, and I'm looking at my vision board, and the one word that stands out to me the most is more. And courage. You have to be fearless in going into whatever
Mm.
career pursuit it is. I said, let me go ahead. And when I put more on my vision board, I said, I can do interviews and doubles. Let me go ahead and take this on. I did two interviews in one day. I said, I can do them back to back with my
Wow.
eyes closed. It doesn't matter to me. I said, I want more. I want more. My goal is to try to do at least 1,000 interviews. And right now, currently, we are at 948. My interview with JJ
Oh,
is
okay.
949. So we are on the road to 1,000. Now,
Yeah.
another huge milestone was hit this year, not for me, but my colleague Bubs the God. And I was one of the ones predicting it. And I think my colleague Alvin also put something because we have a whole thread, a group thread. Uh, he said, oh, he's going to get it in no time. And sure enough, just a few weeks back in this year, he hit his goal of 10K, 1K subscribers here on YouTube. So y'all, if you see him, wish him a congratulations, and that's because he put in the work. And more is
Yes.
coming. And he asked, "What can we do?" I said, "You're already doing it. You're comedy relief to us because everybody has their own personality in the group, and he's the goofball, so he's always going to do something to throw me off when we're on the panels. You guys, he'll be doing it, and yes, Bubs will be coming on the show pretty soon. So you will see it here when he's here. He'll tell you for himself. He will do certain things, and it'll throw me off. Like you're in class, and JJ has students, so he's a teacher as well. So you're going to have that one class clown, that one student, and that's going to do something, and the whole class going to laugh. That is Bubs for sure. And you guys have seen it on the panel. So um, shout outs to my girl, Faith is the Substance. She asked me, she said, if you had to choose between your brother K Tooks or Bubs the God, who would you choose? I said, K Tooks, because Bubs going to get me in trouble. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'll be in
Don't
the
make
class
people
trying to
choose though.
concentrate or land and prove a point, and he will do certain things to make me laugh, and it's funny. So you guys have to pay attention to him. Like, don't you start. But yes, we all love each other. It's all love. So that's the banter that we all have. It's fun. So you guys will see him come on the show. But again, wish him a congrats if you guys see him. But more milestones to come for each and every one of us in the year of 2026. More collaborations, uh, more amazing guests coming in this year alone. And I can guarantee you, if I hit 900 interviews and videos, we're going to hit that 10K. So you have to keep saying it to yourself, affirming and putting it out there in the universe. So the power of manifestation is amazing. So whatever you put out there, it will come back to you times two and then some. So putting out there
Mm.
and letting the world know that this is something you want to do and it will happen full circle, full stop. All right. So we don't have any questions. JJ, what is something else that you're manifesting in this year of 2026?
I think just good health and life for my family. Um, Last year was the first time in some years where everyone lived. Like no one in my there were no reports of death in a year, and I'm like 2025, as hellish as it was, that was something I loved, and so maybe we can get 2 years where everyone gets to survive. So that's what I want. Good health for my family.
Yes, and the same here. I'm putting it out here for each and every one of us. Great health, which was when JJ was here the last time. The colors were, everybody's like, why did you choose green? Green is the color of money, of course, great wealth, and not only great wealth, but great health. It is the color
Mm.
of renewal. I wanted the whole aesthetic behind me that you guys see, everything. I wanted a new clean slate, starting over, starting anew, renewal for each and every one of us in our lives, in the chapters, and in the directions that we're going on individually. All to have just like JJ said, I want us all to have great health, a great renewal. Um, because tomorrow's never promised. And
Mm.
cherish it each and every day. And make sure that you are also pouring into yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup. And take me as a living testament because, like I said, that Christmas I felt sick. You're doing so much for everybody, you're ripping and running. But you also have to make sure that you are being gentle to yourself and pouring into
Yep.
yourself and taking care of yourself, and that's crucial. And that's what I would close out with. But if we don't have any other questions, JJ, what gems, before we get to the gems part, what other things can we expect from you in this year?
Um, I don't know because a lot of times the pivoting surprises me. So I don't know ahead of time, but something will pop up and I'm like, yeah, let me try that. So hopefully something surprising. Because I don't like to stay in my comfort zone too long. So I don't know. We'll
Gotta
see.
say it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, fashion
Yeah.
dolls. What else would you give everybody else to have a successful 2026? Because this year thus far for me has been fabulous. It's been a challenge. I've had
Yeah.
challenges here or there, but I was just like I said when I spoke with a friend of mine on the phone a few minutes ago. I said I feel great. I'm in a place where I'm protecting my peace. No contact with those who no longer serve me purpose. And you guys
Mm.
see it all over me. The glow is real, even though it's bronzer, y'all. uh, special thanks to Melanie Nella, my Bridgers, on that. Uh, renewal. What does renewal look like for you? And what would you tell everybody in finding the chapter of renewal?
Uh, I think for me, it's always got to tie into community and what we've been talking about, like renewing those ties, those bonds that are worth renewing, investing in your community, uh, reaching out to your people, making sure that you're making time to see them in person. Also, if you can't see them in person, like at least talking to them on the phone or on Zoom or on FaceTime, but don't lose connection. And like more than ever in this political climate, we need each other, Black people. We
Yeah,
need each other. So invest in your community locally, globally. See what's going on. Get involved.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I would close the show out with today's final thought, which is about going after your goals. Don't wait until you've reached your goal to be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself
Mm.
every step you take towards reaching that goal. And that's just like when I said I'm on a whole weight loss journey, and you guys see the difference in the photos and everything. I want you guys to be consistent and be adamant about whatever it is that you're going for in the new year. I love you too, girl. I love all of y'all, and thank y'all all so much for your love and unconditional support. And this is what community looks like. We've built our own tribes, and it doesn't have to be an entire circle of 1,500 people, but just the ones who mean the most to you, that intimate
Yep.
circle. So that's
Yeah.
key and important. And like JJ just said, community is all we got. And as my other colleague Bubs the God would say, learn to love yourself, love on yourself, and appreciate yourself. Because again, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I'm going to keep re-emphasizing that for each and every one of us because I know we are always, it's human nature, it's human instinct. We're always on the go, on the go. We're now in a day and age where it's
Mm.
catch up. Everything's got to be done in instant. Like a hot pocket. What you do, you stick that joker in the microwave and go on about your business.
Boom.
But
Yep.
take your time, be patient. It'll all come to you, everything that you've been wishing and hoping and praying for. Trust me, I want more as well too. I told you guys what I would love to work on, and that is having a big beauty empire, just like Rihanna,
Mm.
and more to come. Being at Paris Fashion Week, sitting front row, rubbing elbows next to Michelle Obama, and then Cardi B is over here, or Kamala, whoever is sitting in front row. I'd love that.
Good company.
That would be a dream come true of mine. So who knows what's coming in the horizon for me? It's more and more, and you know, I'm patient. I'm not in a rush, and I would suggest everybody to be patient as well too. It will come to you whatever you're wanting to work house, that goal, that dream, that car. A lot of people I've seen put cars on their vision board. I want to get a car. All of these things, it'll all come to you. Trust me. And if you speak it just enough, I had a guest on my show. Real quick before we go, I'm gonna tell you this quick story. I had a guest come on my show, and I think I told JJ the story in our first interview. Uh, said I auditioned for a role. He didn't, when you're, auditioning for whatever and you've got the part, you can't really give a whole lot away. So he said, you
Mm.
know what, either I get the call back or I don't. He got the call back. And then the next few days after that interview, he said, Miss Stevie, be on the lookout for something. Fast forward a few days after that interview, I see him in the trailer for the Wu Tang saga that was on Netflix or one of the outlets. I'm like, that's the project he was talking about.
Wow.
So It just goes to show you, if you put it out there, it's gonna come to fruition. That's how powerful manifestation is. Yes. So it's all coming true. All right. And that's what I would close the show out with, Fashion Dolls and JJ. Always a pleasure. I would love to have you back on when it's not so cold. Yes. You guys
Yeah,
are privy to it. Snow is coming if you're getting snow where you're at. We haven't gotten any
yeah.
down here in South Carolina yet. We've gotten ice. My mama said it's gonna be snowing. I went outside the next day, it was ice on the ground. And I'm like,
I didn't know
okay,
it snowed down there.
I was wanting snow. Hopefully.
Wow.
So you guys just have to stay tuned for that. But JJ, as always, a pleasure. Love to have you back on in the spring, and we'll set that
Thank
up.
you so much.
And where can everyone follow you and check you out?
I'm on Instagram at James J Johnson one, James J Johnson one, and then on Facebook, same James J Johnson one. I'm not creative, but but yeah, yeah. Hit me up and I'll follow back.
And y'all are getting snow Thursday and Friday, Alvin. Y'all are lucky because I wanted some down here in the Carolinas. It would be great to have a snow day, but then the kids
Be
will be home
careful.
from school. So yes, they be they be home from school and be in the parents' hair and everything. So or they'd be content. They'd have their video games and everything. But I want you all to be intentional today, uh, on purpose, and make sure that you're following whatever it is that you want to do. As I always encourage you to do, be in purpose, be intentional about being intentional, and make sure that you are writing your things down. Keep yourself a to-do list. Jot down the things you want to work on. It's easy. It's easier said than done. But I want you guys to remember that. And joining me tomorrow, we have Jay Lamb. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow here on YouTube at 4. Make sure you subscribe. And you guys, now they what the baby's done taught me about hyping up the videos. Y'all can go and hype up as many videos as you want. There's so many interviews here on this channel. Check the community tab. And make sure that you're also subscribed to Alvin Tit for Tat This and That, K Tukes, Bubs the God, Conscious TV, King Jives, and so many others. Deshaun, Harold, make sure you're all subscribed to them. And shout outs to my girl, Chef Sky. Shout outs to Diva. Shout outs to my
Mm.
beautiful mods. Shout outs to everybody. I love y'all, Fashion Dolls, and I will see y'all tomorrow at 4. Make sure you're subscribed and you've got your notifications on so that you'll know when I'm live. And tap that bell, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Talk to you then.
Bye.
Take care.